Hello everyone, my name is Nicole Dinza and I'm one of the officers of Cultural Awareness Association. This student-run organization was founded to serve as a safe space for students of color in Trinity's predominantly white community to talk about things that we care about and bond over shared experiences. While we focus on topics relevant to students of color, white allies have always been a welcome part of this association. In today's chapel, we will be discussing stereotypes and deconstructing the idea that all people in a racial group are a monolith with the same characteristics, goals, and opinions. We are Cultural Awareness Association, and this is 5 Minute Chapel. Our first speaker today is Chandler Grant. She's a junior and a member of the leadership team for both Cultural Awareness and the Black Alliance Initiative.
Hey everyone! So, unfortunately, like most Black Americans, I do not know where I am from. All I know is that my parents are Black, so that makes me Black as well. I would love to be able to look at a map and point out where my ancestors came from, but one of the many repercussions of slavery is lost identity. Now, this is something that many of us can struggle with, but it's also something that can bring us closer together as a people as well. On top of this, there are many harmful stereotypes that Black Americans face. For example, we are commonly misjudged as uneducated, poor, criminals, and thugs. The last two stereotypes most commonly reference the gangs and gang violence in lower income communities. This topic is literally the main argument thrown back at Black people when we are discussing systemic violence. However, the problem with this is that it blames Black people for a problem that they did not cause on their own, nor can they fix on their own. Gang affiliation is a direct symptom of the inequitable system that fails so many but people of color, but it should not be what determines the worth of Black people. This problem and these stereotypes show up in many ways throughout our society, especially when it comes to Black boys and men. Some examples of this are racial profiling, mass incarceration, and police brutality. Society plays a huge role in reinforcing these stereotypes, especially when it comes to television. How we are presented in movies and the news, or lack thereof, negatively impact how we are seen in our everyday lives. When you are taught that a group of people are less valuable, it's easier to become desensitized and feel justified in inflicting violence among them, whether that be systemic or physical violence. Lastly, viewing Black people as less educated is extremely harmful, especially to a Black child's development. It reinforces another negative stereotype that white people are superior and that Black people are inferior. So by saying this, teachers are more likely to give up on their Black students and prevent them from becoming their best selves.
Now we will be hearing from Estelle Chong, who is a junior as well and a member of Cultural Awareness's leadership team.
My name is Estelle Chong, and my entire family is from South Korea. Now, my siblings and I were the first generation to be born in the States and currently live here, while the rest of my family was born and lives in South Korea. Now, the main aspect of South Korean culture is that we hold the utmost respect for our elders, whether that be people in our lives or strangers. We do this by bowing our heads every time we say hello or goodbye or greetings in general. We also never refer to them by their names, but instead call them by their proper, respectable titles instead. We also show this respect towards our parents by giving our parents our very first paycheck when we get a job as a symbol of gratitude for all that they have done throughout our lives. When my mom first came to the States, she realized that there's a lack of this respect in American culture. And on this note, I wanted to talk about a misconception that most people have about Asian and Asian Americans, and that is that we are all the same. People don't know that the Asian race covers a wider range of individuals and only typically understand the Asian to be what the media portrays, which is the small and squinty eyes and the black hair. People ignorantly group us into one category and justify this action by saying we all look the same. The Asian character in every TV show or movie follows the same storyline, and we're made a fool of. The accents that we carry are made into jokes and are mocked, and this is all justified because it's quote-unquote comedy. What people fail to realize is that English is not our first language. The same reason why you don't want to speak in your French or Spanish class is why many Asian Americans are afraid to leave our home. People have made us embarrassed by the way we sound, and every time we speak, it's met with demeaning looks and laughter. We've become a walking joke in society. People love to assume that Asians can do math off the top of our heads, but look at an Asian struggling to speak a language they did not grow up speaking and look down upon them and make them feel less than and make them feel incompetent. Racism towards Asian has been normalized to the point where it's referred to as casual. We are blamed for a worldwide pandemic, and the term "you people" has been thrown around more often than it should. We are faced with violence and left unheard, and we are told to go back to our country. Asians come to America for this American dream and are faced with justified racism, and it's time we talk about it.
Thank you so much to both of our speakers, and thank you all for listening as well. And to close us out, here's Chandler Grant.
Okay, so we're going to end this video by a quote from Ed Koch. Stereotypes lose their power when the world is found to be more complex than the stereotype would suggest. When we learn that the individuals do not fit the group stereotype, then it begins to fall apart. I hope that sticks with you. Thank you so much for watching.